Okay, and welcome to our Thursday. They used to be on Thursday. Monday night Dream Team call. I want to start the night with some shout outs. We had 3 coaches go Emerald since our last team call. So, congratulations to Sarah and Jennifer. Poor Jennifer. She said, "You can't see me tonight." She has been like on her deathbed. She has been so sick. So, we're sending lots of love to Jennifer. Jennifer and Brett Mitchell, who have all gone Emerald since our last call. So congratulations to them. Way to go, guys. That's awesome. While I'm going to give a few more shout outs, but before I do that, I want you in the chat box to tell me what personal development you are reading right now. So everyone take a minute and type into the chat box what you are reading for personal development right now. Or if you're not reading anything, what you plan to start reading very soon, like tomorrow. Oh, Brett, come on. Oh, awesome. Podcasts are amazing. Okay, while everyone else continues to type theirs in, I want to give a shout out also to everyone that has already hit Success Club this month, which is Bree, Lindsay Smith, Rachel, Kimberly, and Sarah. And Sarah is leading our board with Success Club 20. So congratulations. Yes, exactly. Congratulations to Sarah, everyone else that's already hit Success Club, and everyone that is on the board, because we have a lot of names on the board this month, and we have a lot of new names on the board this month, which I love also. So real quick, I've got one more question for you before we start our content of our call. I want to know now what workout everyone is doing. What workout are you going to start and finish right now? Core de Force, Country Heat, Core de Force. Christina's got everyone like on the Core de Force bandwagon. It's a good program. It makes you feel like, you feel like you could like beat up anyone that walked into your house. Like you're ready to go. Love it. Chalene Extreme, that's a good one. Love them. 21 Day Fix. Just finished 21 Day Fix. Awesome. Okay. Well, I am going to go ahead and continue to put those up. That's totally fine. I am going to go ahead and start the content of our call, which is our challengers and our challenge groups, and how to keep our challengers engaged and how to keep our challengers committed. Because the last thing that we ever want to do is just sign people up to sign people up. That's not what we're here for. We're not here to get, even though it's awesome that we have coaches that have Success Club already, that's not what we're here for. We're not here to get those Success Club points. We're here to change lives, and you can't change lives unless you're putting these challengers into challenge groups and helping them in that way. Can you guys hear me? Anybody hear me? You're frozen. Can someone type in the chat if you can hear me? Hello? Can you guys hear me? What about now? Can you hear me now? Okay, I feel like that guy on the cell phone commercial. I've said, "Can you hear me now?" about 20 times. Awesome. Okay, let me press. I don't know what happened. I think it's because my husband's on the computer too. Let me press record. I'm going to blame him anyways. Let me press record again, because that would have stopped our recording. Oh, no, we're still good. Awesome. Okay, so we're going to go ahead now on to the content of our call. So challenge groups are something that I was asked to speak about not long ago on a corporate call. And it's because for me, I feel like my challenge groups are what I'm the most successful at. I am okay at recruiting coaches and I'm okay at those kind of things, but my challenge groups are where I put all of my energy. I would say 80% of my energy as a coach goes into my challenge groups, because I know that if you're in a challenge group and you're enjoying your experience and you're having results, then more than likely you're going to end up a coach on my team, because you believe in the products 100% because of what they've done for you. So in my opinion, a challenge group is where the magic happens. That's where you need to be putting your time, is in the challenge groups. I personally, and this is up to you, but I personally only do one group a month. And the reason I do one group a month, regardless of how many challengers if I had 50 challengers that wanted to be in a group, I would still only do one group. Because when I try to do more than one group in a month, then I find myself giving more time to one group than another group. And I don't like that. And it becomes too overwhelming for me. So one group a month. Now, there is an exception. If we have a new program that comes out, for example, when Core de Force came out, I did a specific Core de Force group and I did a regular challenge group. And even on those months when I do that, I'll find myself giving more energy to that specific group than I do my regular group. But not everyone wants to be in the specific group, and I also don't want to leave them hanging. So those are the only months where I will do two groups. Every other month, I only do one group so I can give 100% of my energy. I personally do 21-day groups with a prep week ahead of it. When I do 21 days, that kind of keeps, and I'm kind of OCD in this way, but it keeps my schedule more how I want it, so that it's happening kind of on the second Monday of each month, and it's not all over the place and getting pushed back. So I always try to do mine 21 days, unless it's a program specific, with a prep week. And this is a personal preference for you, what you want to do, but I run all of my groups on the app, unless it's a free group. I no longer do Facebook groups. I just think it's silly, in my personal opinion, because there are so many people that want to be in a group, but they don't necessarily want to really participate in the group. They just want a place where they can check in. And I have tons of challengers that just use that app and are just in my group to check in, and that's all they have time for, but they need that accountability to say they've had their shake and to say they had their workout. They might not be able to comment on the post. They may not be able to do a sweaty selfie, but it's enough accountability for them just to get on that app and check in and say that they've done it. If it's in a Facebook group, then they fall by the wayside and you end up not hearing from them and you lose them and they don't want to be in the group anymore because it's too much work. So yes, Bree, I 100% agree. I actually have 3 people in my current group, and it's usually men that don't want to actually participate in the group. They just want a place to check in. And a lot of men don't have Facebook too. So that really helps with that. So they can just download this app onto their phone and do it that way. Okay, so I have 8 tips that I'm going to give you for running your challenge groups. Tip number 1. If you have a challenger that signs up in the middle of your group, do not just throw them randomly into your group. Because if you do, I can tell you that they're not going to participate or be as successful. Everyone needs to start together on day 1. I have made exceptions. There are exceptions, but for the most part, I make everyone start on the same day. And the reason and what I do if that does happen, because it does happen, you sign up challengers and people before then, Sarah, you're okay. I see you smile. You're fine. Help them one-on-one until the group starts. It just gives a sense of community whenever you can add everyone in on the day 1, and everyone's there for the prep week, and everyone's there together when you start together. So if you have a challenger that starts midway through, wait till the following group to add them in. Don't add them in halfway through. And if you've done that, it's okay. Don't worry about it. But just in the future, know that that's best practices. Tip number 2, make sure you have a prep week. You cannot start your challenge group on the 12th and sign it up and get everyone added on the 12th. You have to have a prep week, and that's a week for simple things. Like some people don't know how to schedule their workouts, like that you need a workout time, that you need to make sure you set your alarm 30 days early. That's a good time to talk about those things. Good time to talk about meal prep. Good time to just do fun little games and activities to get to know one another, because you're going to be with those people for the next 21 days. So that it's easier for everyone to open up and do those sweaty selfies and silly things like that also. So make sure that you have that prep week so that you can build your challenge group family, and so that you can get everyone prepared and ready to start on day one. I also, during that prep week, upload all of my files, my recipes, my meal plans, my Shakeology recipes, my personal development, all of those kinds of things. Tip number 3, all of my posts in my challenge groups are up by 6 a.m. And I don't think they're really, I mean, things do happen, and I totally get that. You need to try to have it up by 6 a.m. And most of the time in my group, it's up by 5 or 5:30. If you're using the app now, there's really no reason it shouldn't be, because you can do it the night before and post it for the following day. Now, I get it. I've totally it's been where I've done it too, where I've not got my post up till 10 or 11 because I just totally spaced or something's happened. It happens, but try not to make it happen, because I know our challengers get up and they're looking for that post. They're ready. They want to see what their task for the day is before they go to work. They want to see what's going to happen, what they're supposed to be focusing on for that day. So make sure your posts are up by 6 a.m. each day. And I like to also do an additional afternoon tip if possible. The group that I'm doing right now is a busy mom group. So we've been trying to come up with like busy mom tips for the afternoon, or just additional tips that go along with what we're talking about for that day. Tip number 4, I practice what I preach in the group. If I say you need to do a sweaty selfie, then I'm doing a sweaty selfie. If I say on Friday you need to flex, then I'm flexing on Friday. If I say you need to share a recipe on Tuesday, then I'm sharing a recipe on Tuesday. I'm not going to ask my challengers to do something that I'm not willing to do myself. You have to lead by example. If you're in a group, if you're coaching a group and you're not doing those things, they're not going to do it either. That's just, I mean, they're following you. You're the leader. If you're not going to take the time to do it, why would they take the time to do it? You're showing them that it's not important enough. You have to make sure that you're setting a good example for them. Tip number 5, I try my hardest to check in at least 3 times a day with my group. I check in the morning. I check in, I don't know, it depends. Like right now it's around lunchtime. When I was working full time, it was as soon as I got off work, because I couldn't check my phone the entire day I was at work. And then at night before I go into bed, because I do the nightly check-in where we use numbers to kind of rate our day. So that's when I also check in with the group. So at least 3 times a day. If you have time to get in there more, get in there more. If you can only get in there 2 times a day and that's just how it has to be, that's how it has to be. Never go a day without checking in with your group though. And then number 6, behind the scenes. My tip for number 6 is behind the scenes is just as important as what you're doing in the group. The interaction that you have with your challengers cannot just be limited to your challenge group. You have to message and help them privately in addition to in the group. Every Monday, my challengers pretty much know, those that have been with me for a while, that they're going to get some sort of message from me on Monday, checking in to see how things are going. If they've kind of fallen off the wagon, then they're going to get another message from me later in the week to see how it's going. I always give them the opportunity. Do you need any additional help? Is there anything specifically, is what my wording is. There's anything specifically that you need help with this week? And typically it's nutrition. Usually that's what I get an answer with, nutrition. Or I just can't find the time to work out. So, and you'd be surprised at how hard it is for people to schedule that time. But when they sit down and talk to you, they realize how much time they do have, that they can find 30 minutes to get up early or during nap time or something like that. But they just need to talk through that with you. And sometimes they're not willing to put that out there in the group. So you have to make sure privately behind the scenes that you're messaging them also. Tip number 7, and now that I'm reading this, I've actually kind of been bad on this group I'm doing right now. You have to educate your challengers on Shakeology. You have to post about Shakeology and the benefits of Shakeology, any information that you would like to share with them on Shakeology. The Shakeology podcast is where I typically get everything that I share in my groups. Lots of good information. because you have to share with them the value of Shakeology and why they should be drinking it, how it's going to make them feel, what it's going to do for them. Otherwise, they're not going to come back next month, or they're going to think they can just stop drinking Shakeology and it's going to be okay. And we know that's not the case. So you've got to educate them on Shakeology and why it's so important for them to have that in their day. And then tip number 8, my last tip, is when the group is over, you can't just end the group and that's it, boom. You have to be talking to your challengers. You have to be talking about your upcoming group, whether that's in the group, whether that's privately. Typically, I'm co-coaching groups, so that's privately for me. I'll be messaging them privately. This week is when I'm messaging my challengers privately and letting them know what the next group is, seeing if they're interested. You can't just end the group and assume that they're going to message you about it. You have to reach out to them. And then just a few other little things. Shout outs are really good in your group. If you notice someone's been logging all their workouts or all their Shakeologies, you can shout out to them. If someone's been doing a lot of sweaty selfies, you can give them a shout out. I try to keep it in the group. However, I kind of know my challengers also, so I will privately message them and ask if it's something I can shout them out on social media. Some say they prefer not to, some do like that or don't mind at all or could care less one way or the other. But it's always nice to ask this because for some people this is a very private thing that they're doing and they don't want that shared with everyone. Shout outs are effective. Yes, definitely. And then if you feel like your group, and I feel like we've all probably been here, if you feel like your group is kind of getting stagnant and no one's posting and no one's doing anything, and that usually happens around week 3 is when the fire kind of burns out and they kind of start to get tired, start doing games with them. There's bingo games, there's point system games. You can get on Pinterest and find accountability group games. And that's fun to do, especially if you offer a prize with that. And I know Sarah and I right now, which I think our challengers failed miserably, came up with the idea of if they got a 5 on their nutrition every day this week, then they get put in the hat for a drawing. Well, I didn't see no one got put in the hat for a drawing, but that at least gave them a little bit of motivation to try a little harder on that. And they've really been posting about their nutrition. So just little ideas like that. And like I just said, that idea failed miserably, and they're going to. You're going to live and learn, and it just might not have been from this group, and it may be for the next group. Yes, weekly challenges are good. I like doing the point system where they get a point for each thing that they log, but I make them keep track of it. I don't keep track of that. It has to be, I just have to trust them to tell the truth on that. I think that's all of the tips and all of the information that I have. I was trying to keep it short and sweet tonight. I am going to go ahead and stop the recording, but I'm going to open it up for any questions that anyone may have.